Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today I want to share with you about living among giants. We're going to be talking about living among giants. And the reason why I want to talk to you about living among giants is because when we think about living among giants, we get very fearful. And what are giants really? Let's describe what is it that we're afraid of. They're very strong, they are enormous, and they are powerful. And that is something that we tend to be afraid of. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. But before I continue, let me tell you that many years ago, when I was working at this company, one of the ladies there was my coworker, and she was taller than me. And I really got along with her. We got along really good. I enjoyed going to work just to be able to have lunch with her and meet up with her. And what was cool is that she was way taller than me. She was not a giant, but she was taller than me, and I am not short. And that was really cool. But then she got a title as a supervisor or something like that. And in her title, what happened is that later she started noticing how popular I was at work. To the point that I was so popular that it was kind of taking away her voice that she felt, to the point that people would always ask me, what do you think about what she said? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I have always been very opinionated, always. And I usually tend to be a voice of people that don't have a voice. So that was what was happening. So she was getting really angry with me, and we were not getting along. After that, she tried to make my life impossible. I did not know where that was coming from. I wasn't doing anything against her, and it was just becoming very difficult. One day we were supposed to have a meeting, and I decided, okay, I'm going to go to the restroom because, meetings can take a long time. And I'm going to go to the restroom to make sure that I take care of business before I go to the meeting. So myself and other coworkers, we are on the way to the restroom, and she screamed at me. Remember, I just said we were going to the restroom with the same meeting with the same person. She decided to scream at me. She said, "Where do you think you're going?" Like really screaming at me. And this time I'm like in my late 20s, something like that. And I do have a kid already. And she is just, and I turn around and I'm like, "Are you talking to me? Who do you think I'm talking to? Where do you think you're going? Get in the meeting. Meeting already is going to start." I just had to breathe. I wanted to curse her out. I wanted to tell her off. I'm like, don't talk to me like that. And when someone that is a screamer like me lower their voice and talk to you like that, you know that it's not a good thing. I was quiet, but I looked at her. I turned around. I ignored her. I went to the restroom. And when I went into the restroom, tears came out of my eyes. I was so angry. I was like, oh! I was so mad. I was cursing. I did. And the people that was in the bathroom with me is like, "What's wrong with her? I thought you girls was friends and whatever." And I'm like, I have no clue. So I got out of the bathroom, and 5 minutes before I went into the meeting. And when I went into the meeting, her eyes was just at me the whole time. I usually sit in the front wherever I go, but this time I sat in the back because I wanted to leave before anything. And during the meeting, she just kept pounding at me, and I will just have my opinion because I'm still not going to shut up. I'm still going to have my opinion, and she hated it. And at one point, she told me, shut up. And everybody looked at me like, and at this moment, I was just like, I can't believe that. Like, what is wrong with this woman? I need to confront her because she's not going to disrespect me, right? Well, I want to talk to you today about giants in your life, at work, at home, everywhere. Giants that we face, mean that we did something or we didn't. And for this reason, I'm going to be sharing with you 1 Samuel 21 to 22. That's what we're going to be talking about. And let me pray before I actually continue to share these scriptures with you. So Father God, thank you for this day. Thank you for allowing us to be here again. Thank you for your word. Thank you for allowing me to share this that you put in my heart, Father God. I pray, Father God, that I will be able to communicate the message that you want me to communicate, and that we will be able to identify with your word as in our each and personal life, Father God. I thank you for Jesus dying on the cross. I thank you for your Holy Spirit. I thank you for your mercy and your grace. I thank you, Father. And I ask you to continue guiding us in Jesus' name. Amen. So, I want to talk to you today about Samuel. And before I do that, in the book of Samuel, and before I do that, what I want to do is remind you that we all know about David and Goliath, right? David, little midgy man, regular man, and Goliath, this huge giant that David destroyed. You know, just like the song say, he picked up the stones and he rolled it and he threw it at Goliath and Goliath fell, right? We always hear how powerful David was. We always hear how he destroyed Goliath, and when we are in our life, we always think, I want to be David destroying Goliath. We always think about that, right? However, we don't usually think a lot about the challenges that David go through. David went through a lot of running, a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, a lot of lying. Those are the things that we do not think about. And that is what I want to share with you today. So what we're going to do, we are going to go to Samuel, 1 Samuel, and that is going to be 1 Samuel 21 to 22. And although I am not going to read it through all of this because it's very long and this program is only for 30 minutes, I want you to take your time and read 1 Samuel 21 to 22 and even more if you want to. But this, just to summarize it, this in the part of 21, it explains how David was running away from Saul. Okay? He ran away from Saul, and let's remember who Saul is. Saul is the king, okay? Saul is the king, and he gave David the opportunity to go in front of the military and destroy Goliath. It was him that gave the okay. However, David trusted God, and that's the reason why he knew that there was nothing between him that Goliath could do, because David was putting his trust in God, and that's how he was able to defeat Goliath. However, what happened is that David became so popular because of his trust in God. He became very popular. People admired him. They were talking about him so much. What happened? This made Saul very envious, because although Saul had done great things, he did not do them as great as David did. And people were dancing and singing, Saul killed thousands and David killed tens of thousands, right? And that was making him envious, to the point that he started disliking David, to the point that he did everything that he could to kill David, although David did not do anything to try to kill Saul. So what happened in chapter 21 here? David decided that he needed to escape, and Jonathan, before this chapter, Jonathan helped David escape because Jonathan, Saul's son, realized that David was in trouble, his life was in trouble, and Jonathan was almost like David's brother. The way that they cared about each other, they were almost like brothers. So what happened is that David went to the priest, and the priest that they had before that had blessed him and all that, and he went to the priest, and when he went to the priest, it said, and the priest answered David and said, there is no common bread under mine hand, but there is hallowed bread. If your young men have kept themselves at least from women, right? And David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth woman have been kept from us about these 3 days, since I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy, and the bread is in the manner common. Ye though it was sanctified this day in the vessel. What is he explaining here? David is lying. He is letting them know that he is on a secret mission. He is telling the priest he is on a secret mission, and his soldiers need bread. David was alone, and he lied, saying that he have left his soldiers, and if the priest had any bread that he could give them. And then on top of that, he asked him for, as you keep reading, he asked him if he have any sword, any weapon that he can use. And remember, he's on a secret mission, lying that the king sent him on a secret mission, and he should not share it with anybody. So the priest from Nob tell him that yes, he have the sword, the one that he used to take Goliath's heads off, to kill Goliath, right? So what happened is that the priest handed over to him, and David was very happy. He's like, this is perfect, right? So then after that, because David did not want to get him into more trouble, he left with the bread and the sword. But remember, David is escaping. So what he does is that he ran away into the city where the people of Goliath was. Let's put it this way. You have the U.S. military, one of the commanders, one of the generals of the U.S. military. He realized that Obama or Trump, which is the head, want to kill them because he's so popular that they want to destroy him. So he decided that he's going to escape, and he does that with help from the son of Obama or the son of Trump, example. So he runs away, but he lies during the way, and when he, just to be able to get away, because he's full of fear. What do we do when we run away from things? Because we're afraid. We think that something is greater and more powerful than us, and that's the reason why we fear. We give into a fear, and we lie. And that's what David did. He lied to the priest. So David tried to get away, and he got away to, in this case, the example, he got away to Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, right? Where, just think about it. U.S. military general or commander hiding in Iran. Very dangerous. So he went and hid in Iran, and he have the rifle that he used to kill Osama bin Laden or Saddam Hussein. He had that, right? So when he entered the city, the people say, isn't that general that killed Osama bin Laden, or what they call him, Saddam Hussein? Isn't that general? And then David, in this case, David realized that they have recognized him. So now because he realized that they have recognized him, they actually take him in front of the king of this place. And when they take him, I think it's the king Abimelech, and when they take him in front of this king, he started acting crazy, like he was kooky, like he's nuts, because he was afraid that they will kill him. So he started acting crazy, to the point that he made his saliva run down on his mouth. Just imagine, David, I'm not going to let that happen. But just imagine his saliva is running down and he's acting crazy, just doing stuff, writing on walls and things like that. So what did the king do? The king just decided, why did you people bring me this guy? Get him out of here. Right? So that saved him. But later, Saul find out that Ahimelech, I think it is, he had helped David. Ahimelech, this is the one right here. And he found out that Ahimelech had helped David, and although Ahimelech did not know what was going on, Saul felt that he was being betrayed by Ahimelech, and Ahimelech was the priest. So Saul decided to kill Ahimelech and the priest that was there. So David's lie caused Ahimelech and his family and the other priests to die. So when we go into chapter 22, David finds out that Ahimelech and all the other priests, they died, and he feel afflicted, he feel horrible for what had happened, because of his lie, because it was his fault that they died. And let me pause it right here. How many times have we done things in our life because we were afraid? We lied, we stole, we did a lot of things that destroy other people's life. But we cannot change it. But what happens is that we have a negative action because we give in to the fear. And that fear destroys other people's life. And that's what happened with David here. So David, in this part, he's feeling afflicted. And when we go to the chapter 22, it says, David therefore departed thence and escaped to the cave of Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him. And everyone that was in distress, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discounted, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. Have you realized that sometime in your life, when you are just feeling down and destroyed and nothing seems to work, you feel the worst because you know you have made mistakes, you know you are in fear, and God wants you to help someone else, and God wants you to focus on someone else, and God sent you people that admire you, and you are thinking, what is wrong with these people? They don't see what I see. Been there, done that. And we are feeling so bummed out. And we are not understanding, why is it that family members want to follow us, want to listen to us? Why is it our friends and our co-workers, why do they want to listen to us? We don't have the answer. And that's what happened to David here. He became the head of depressed people that was fearful, and they became the captain of all of them. And God can use you in your situation, current situation, to be a captain of others, to lead others. God called many people, and He does not call the people that are doing everything perfect. He called people that are doing everything imperfect. Why? Because during that process, people can see what we are, and they can see our transformation into what God help us to become. God can use you in your situation to transform you into what He wants you to become, but during that process, you can help others, just like David has. So what David did is that David decided that this was too much, and he went back to the source that he began with, and that is Psalm 142. And it says here, I cried out unto the Lord with my voice. With my voice unto the Lord did I make my supplication. I poured out my complaint before Him. I shewed before Him my trouble. When my spirit was overwhelmed within me, then Thou knewest my path. In the way wherein I walk, have they prevailed, laid and snared for me. King James Version is very difficult to read, but I will explain. I look on my right hand and beheld, but there was no man that will know me. Refuge failed me. No man cared for my soul. I cried unto Thee, O Lord. I said, Thou art my refuge and my portion in the land of the living. Remember this. I cried unto the Lord, and I said, Thou art my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. We are the living. God is Lord, and He can rescue you, and He can rescue me in spite of all the giants that we have among us. The people at your job, your boss, the people that have more money than you, more fame than you, more popularity than you. God is more powerful, enormous, bigger, gigantic than all of these, even the demons and the Nephilims. Attend unto my cry, for I am brought very low, very low. Deliver me from my persecutors, from my enemies, for they are stronger than me. And he cried out to God because he know that his enemies are stronger than him, but they are not stronger than God. Your enemies are not stronger and more powerful than God. Never. Satan is not stronger than God. And you have to believe that. Bring my soul out of prison, that I may praise thy name. The righteous shall compass me about, for thou shalt deal bountifully with me. And this is David asking God for help, deciding to put his trust in God, because he understood now that the enemies are strong. The enemies are powerful, but they are never more powerful than God. And that is something that we forget when we are going through trial, because we make mistakes as David had made, and we believe the devil tried to lie to us, making us believe that God is not listening, that God is not with us, that God can no longer use us. But God uses our lowest estate to touch others, to transform the life of others, to bring others to the truth. But for this reason, we have to trust God. You have to trust that God is going to use you, but you have to trust call on him, claim on him, implore him, God help me. You have to trust that. And once you start trusting God, God start working with you. He take your weakness and he turn it into strength. He take that you are a nobody and turn you into somebody, because you always been a somebody for God. For this world we are nobodies, but for God we are special, unique, powerful people. But as Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Your power, your strength is in Jesus Christ. You got to trust God. You got to trust God. You got to allow the Holy Spirit to work in you. Doesn't matter if you work with horrible bosses, co-workers that want to stab you in your sleep, or will put their foot in front of you just to trip you and trick you. There's so many things that can happen in your life. But in order for you to overcome these challenges, in order for you to be victorious, you have to trust God, as David did. David went back to God. David understood that he was weak and he could not do this alone, and he needed God's help for this. You and I need God's help. God is there to use us, to help us to be better and better and better. But we're only going to be better and better and better if we trust him and don't take vengeance into our own hands. Because to finish up the story, because David put back his trust in God and allowed God to guide him, guess what happened? God gave Saul into David's hands several times, and David did not take Saul's life. So when Saul realized that David had the opportunity to kill him several times, he realized that David was never his enemy. David was just chosen by God, but he was not his enemy. David was obeying God. Although he made several mistakes in not trusting God, David went back to God. So I'm telling you today, the story, when we learn a story about victory, make sure you find out about the challenges of that story. Because every victory have a challenge. And your life might be full of challenges right now. And you might have experienced victories, but the victory is bigger than what you have experienced before. But you have to stand firm and you have to trust God in order for God to give you victory in whatever your situation is. So I want to remind you of that. Trust God, my brother, my sister. Trust God. Put your faith in God and allow God to transform your life, to God to use you. God takes someone like me that is not perfect, someone that just don't speak perfect, someone that may, like me, and use them to be able to get to you, and use them to be able to help you to transform your life, to be able to take you from where you are right now and make you greater than you are. God wants to do that in your life, but you have to allow him to do that in your life. He gave us the ability to think for ourselves, free will, but we can only be able to be powerful in our free will if we ask God to help us to be powerful, if we ask God to guide us, if we allow God to work with us. So this is what I wanted to share with you today, and also remind you that on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I do interview others, and it's not biblical. It's mostly motivational, empowerment, coaching, expert, bringing in coaches and experts to be able to help you grow. And that's the focus, help you grow. So please connect with us at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time at the bottom of the screen in Vivo Live. And if you're an expert and you want to participate, be interviewed in the program, then please send us an email to info@envivoassociates.com. info@envivoassociates.com. May God bless you in everything that you do. And don't forget, there may be giants in your life. There may be bosses, and there may be people that are more powerful than you, but no one is more powerful than God. And when you trust God, you become powerful. So allow God to work in your life. Allow Him to share His power with you so that you are not giving in to the giants that are living in your life. God bless you.